All right. Hey, everybody. I have a dear friend, Miss Ellen Cobb, on today.
Hi.
She is the bomb. It's
Thank
really
you.
fun how we met. I do want to talk about how we
Yes.
met.
Yes.
Um,
Because it was
Goodness.
so long ago, right?
Yes, that's what I was trying to remember. I don't remember how many years.
I mean, we've had the studio for almost 12, and I met you prior to, right?
Oh, really?
Did we
Uh,
meet in Nashville at
yes.
Releve? Yeah. So
Well,
that would have
no, at
been
is it? Oh, goodness.
Freebird.
Free Bird. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
That's,
maybe, did we meet after I had started
I
Novo?
think
Did we
y'all
have
had
Novo?
just started
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, probably like over a decade ago,
That's
right? Isn't
crazy.
that weird?
That's weird. So we met at a boutique fitness studio in Nashville
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we were getting certified, or I guess we were just taking the
I
class, the
think we were
rebounding class.
taking, yeah.
Yeah. And I think y'all said we're from Columbus. And I was like, what? That's where I'm from. And so we just kind of connected that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I followed y'all on social media,
Yeah.
y'all's business, which their business, her and her sister have an incredible boutique
Thank you.
fitness studio in Columbus, Georgia called Novo Fitness
Yes.
Studio. And it's the cutest, best, coolest place ever.
You're so
I
sweet.
always am
I
like
remember being
harassing her,
like, can
like,
you
hey,
please
you
move
just need to
down?
bring that
Like,
on to
can you
Athens,
just
please.
move closer?
Yes, I know, or that too. Um,
Yeah.
so that's how we met. And so we just like, then I finally got to come and bring my friend and got to
Yes.
take some classes at your studio.
Yeah. That was
And
like
that was
7 or 8 years ago, right? Because I think we saw that time hop
yeah,
recently. It was a while. Yeah.
yes.
So
Wow. But that's how we
crazy.
met. And then we've just like
Yeah.
stayed connected.
Yes.
And I mean,
We
really
both got
just comment
boys.
here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How
Yeah.
far
Got
apart are they?
boys.
How old is he?
Fitness. So Leo turned 3 in January.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So they are
Yeah.
very
How
close.
old's Coop?
He turned 3 in January.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Is that right? Yeah.
Did he? Do you have preggy
Mhm.
brain?
No, he really did. He turned
Okay.
3.
Okay.
I'm like sitting here second guessing it. But when is his birthday? Like what day?
January 8th.
Okay, his is the 22nd.
Okay. Yeah, they are literally
That makes
like,
sense. Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Mhm. Because we were texting each other postpartum and stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I
Mhm.
remember. Okay. Yeah.
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 Okay, sorry guys.
So
Y'all are
fun.
probably like, "Wow."
This is what happens when we get on a podcast together.
I love it. I love it.
Derail.
I know. That's okay. That's what outlines are for.
Yes.
Um, but I really wanted to have Ellen on here for a few reasons, but she has taken on this brand new journey in the
Yeah.
past 3 years of
Yes.
becoming a holistic health coach. And so I'm
Yeah.
just going to let her start her story from however she wants to start it. And y'all are going to love this.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Okay, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Probably going to be some tears. We'll try not to, but we are postpartum with number
That's
2,
okay.
and the story is dear to me. So, I was so excited to enter motherhood with obviously with this one, but with my first son. I had been a nanny my whole life. My sister had 3 kids. So I was like, I know what I'm doing. You know, I know it's hard, but I know what I'm doing and I feel really confident in it. I'm super type A. So I had just like this
Mhm.
great little outline before he was even born. Like I had a schedule. He's going to be up at this time, he's going to sleep at this time. And I'm just like, look at how the Lord has prepared me all these years to just enter motherhood so well. Like, I got this, you know? And my whole world was rocked and I was completely humbled. Um, Leo was born and everything was great. There were no issues. And, you know, he was breastfeeding well. We were sleeping as best as you can with a newborn, which is about every hour you're up.
Right.
And so then around truly 2 weeks old, he had these bumps that came over his entire body. And my husband was very, very, I'm going to say what they call crunchy. You know, he was very clean, and he grew up in Southeast Asia as a missionary kid. And so just kind of his whole lifestyle, they did a lot of things differently than how we were raised with, you know, Gushers and fruit roll ups over here and Doritos. And my mom's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, Mom, you didn't. No, it's fine. It turned out fine. Um, so I had kind of jumped on the bandwagon with Greg a little bit back in like 2020. And then when I got pregnant, I really was like, okay, everything that goes on my body and in my body is impacting this baby. And so I started just switching like all my makeup, my soap, my shampoo, just kind of on this non-toxic journey, one thing at a time. Whereas Greg had kind of switched like our household products a few years prior, just with like water filters, those kind of things. But aside from that, I really didn't know much. And so when Leo got these bumps, I was like, this is so weird. You know, what is it? So we went to the doctor and he's like, oh, it's baby acne. And I'm like, why is it like on his ankles? You know, like I've seen baby acne before on their little faces,
Right.
but this was literally everywhere, you know? And my husband was like, don't worry, I'm in all these crunchy mom groups on Facebook.
Shut your mouth.
Swear.
I
He's
love
like,
that.
let me post pictures and I'll ask. And I'm like, you're in what? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm in all these birthing groups. I'm in all these like postpartum groups. I got you.
That's
I was
hilarious.
dying. Yes, so funny. So funny. So he posts pictures and asks, and everybody in there is like, you know, you need to cut dairy, you need to cut gluten, you might need to cut eggs. Like, this is not baby acne. And I'm thinking, what is it? Like, what are we dealing with, you know?
Mhm.
And a lot of people are like, diet. And again, I would say I ate at that point like pretty clean. I was mindful, you know, trying to eat organic, but definitely not where I am today. And so I'm like, okay, cut dairy, cut gluten. Like, this is weird. At that point, you know, 3.5 years ago, I did not, my brain did not even understand that foods could cause or could trigger, I should say, like certain reactions. So the first thing I did was I cut all dairy, which was really huge for me. It's not that I was like, you know, guzzling gallons of milk, but like the night before I had just had like a huge Mexican bowl, you know, with cheese dip. Like, I'm
Oh,
postpartum. Mama wants some cheese dip, you know? And
yeah.
so I was like, okay. So I cut dairy and it got a little better, but was still there. And my mom was like, you know, one thing you're eating every single day is you're having eggs for breakfast. Maybe you should cut eggs. I'm like, eggs? Are people allergic to eggs? Like, that doesn't even make sense. And she's like, yeah, people are allergic to eggs. Like, maybe cut eggs. I mean, I was just so oblivious. So I was like, okay. So I cut eggs, completely cleared up. Like, skin was picture perfect, nothing. So I was like, okay, we're doing no dairy, we're doing no eggs. And in the beginning, all of that seemed like this huge mountain. Like, how am I going to eat? You know, you can't eat out because there could be cross contamination, or you can't trust that this restaurant's going to actually take it seriously, you know? So
Mhm.
that was just kind of different, especially being postpartum, feeling like, when we live in a world that so much of like meeting time or hangout time is around food, to feel like you can't, like, I can't go meet a friend for lunch or meet a friend for dinner, or a friend can come and visit me in the baby postpartum, but they can't really bring anything, you know? And we don't realize how much of our world is involved around food. And, you know, had my first like round of holidays, and you go and you're like, you can't eat anything. You have to bring your own dish to everything. And like at our studio, you know, we had a staff party and everybody brought stuff, and like I couldn't eat anything, which is fine, but you start to feel kind of isolated because you're literally in your own island of just like, I can't eat food, you know, out at places. I have to bring everything. I have to always like be forward thinking of, oh, I'm going here, so I need to prepare this, so I need to bring this. But then you feel like you kind of need to explain, because then you don't want to be rude as to why you're showing up with your own food to like someone else's event, you know?
Mhm.
So that was just kind of mentally, I think, hard, but I felt like, well, what I'm doing is working. So it gave me the fuel to go. Leo always was sleeping in like a little bedside bassinet. We're like, okay, this is great. Moved him to his crib. He was sleeping these beautiful, like 7, 8 hour stretches. He's like 3 months, 4 months old. I'm like, look at us. We're back on track. We are nailing it. We're good. All of a sudden, really, truly, all of a sudden, he started getting very restless at night around the 4-month mark. But you always hear about the 4-month regression or progression. So I'm like, oh, this is normal, you know? So he was just kind of like rubbing his little face in the sheets and like couldn't get comfortable. And you're watching him on the monitor, like, what's going on? And so we were going in there, grabbing him, and he wasn't crying, but he was not comfortable. He was just kind of fussy. And then it started with like one little patch, probably this big or so, that came on his leg. At the same time, he was teething. So he got it here, but I just thought, oh, it's from all this like drool, you know, because they just pour buckets. So I actually have a picture of him at 4 months old. And he has like a massive band aid on his chin because he's missing like skin right here. So
So
I
it was
was
a
like,
little raw skin
yes,
patch to
yes,
describe it? Okay, okay, like
literally raw. Yeah, like wet and raw. And I remember so clearly we were downstairs, and I have a little trampoline in our kitchen because I own a fitness studio. So naturally, you have a trampoline in your kitchen.
yep, love it.
And I was supposed to go teach a class, and I look down, and his leg is like dripping fluid. It's like a clear yellow fluid. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And I remember taking a picture of it and still totally oblivious, sending it to like the whole Novo team. And I'm like, hey, my son's skin is like oozing something, and I'm getting kind of worried. So I can't teach my classes. Can anyone cover for me? And still, I have no idea what's going on. I'm just like, something's not quite right. So I sent a picture of it to our friend who's a doctor, and he's like, hey, yeah, it kind of looks like eczema. You'll probably want to go and just get like steroids, get a topical, like, you know, antibiotic cream, or something to put on it, steroids, mupirocin, and it should take care of it. And I'm thinking, he's 4 months old. I feel like so overwhelmed, but I definitely don't want to do steroids, you know, and like there's got to be something more going on. Like, and so I don't even really know. It's just kind of one of those things that like every day led to a little bit more. Like it started growing a little more, started oozing a little more. Sleep started getting harder and harder. And what I didn't realize at the time was that his sleep was because he was itchy. Eczema is sometimes described as like the itch that sometimes rashes, because there's not always like this huge rash that we can see. It starts with this deep, like to the bone internal itch, like you're covered in a bed of ants, is kind of how adults who have it describe it. But I've got like a 4 month old, and he can't tell me what's going on. Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, it was awful. It was awful. And so I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? So I like wrap it in gauze because it seems logical because it's oozy. And then I just start like Googling, you know, like eczema. And that was really the first time that I'd heard about eczema. Like if you would have said, hey, what's eczema? I'd be like, oh, it's some kind of patch that might itch sometimes. Like I had no idea, no idea. And so everything I'm reading is like, yes, steroids fix it. Yes, you need like an antibiotic cream. And I'm just like, I can't do this. Like, he's so little, you know, I'm not about to go slather him and stuff. Um, so from there, my mom was like looking on Facebook, because since Greg was in all these Facebook groups, my mom was like, there's got to be a Facebook group for eczema, you know, like there just has to be. And she
Yeah.
found one, and it's fantastic. And it's called Erasing Eczema, for any moms out there who need an eczema group. When I joined, there were 2,000. There's now 50,000. And all of these people are in there because there is
Wow.
such a need. Yes. And all of these people come to the group because they have seen that like steroids, yes, will band-aid it, but then the second you stop, it's going to come back. And that, you know, a topical antibiotic is going to cause all these issues, same with an internal antibiotic. And so actually ended up becoming what we call a mod, or like a moderator in the group. So the creator of the group, Savannah, is the admin. And then I was a moderator of the group as I started like healing Leo and learning all this stuff. But when I was pregnant with my second, so I just had my second baby, when I was pregnant with him, I was like, I've got to step back from it because the group grew so much. You would have to like just be inundated for like 4 hours a day, and it's all volunteer based, and the people in there are amazing, and the admins and mods are fantastic. But I just didn't have the capacity because now I have 2 businesses and 2 kids, and I was just like, I can't. So
Right.
anyways, we joined the group, started like kind of reading through some stuff. And I was like, okay, all these people are cutting out foods too. Like maybe I need to cut out more foods. So at that point, I cut out, and like fast forward, now he's about 8 months old. Patches are kind of everywhere, legs, face. And I had just been really like eliminating foods. We had filters on everything in the house, so we were bathing him in like filtered water. I was doing some like apple cider vinegar baths. I was doing like aloe topically on his skin. I had researched every single herbal anything. We were doing baths with like plantain, calendula, chamomile. I was doing homeopathy. So I was getting I had incorporated a lot of things, but I wasn't getting much traction, though I was getting a lot of new things like involved in the mix. And so I was spending, I'm not even kidding, hours every day researching, every single day. At this point, he was literally not able to sleep. This is where I will probably cry. But my parents were having to come over in shifts to get us through the night. So it was like me, Greg, mom, dad. And Greg would do the first shift from like 8 to 12, and then he would go to bed. My dad's a night owl like me. So dad would take over from like 12 to 3 and then leave at 3. And then I would go in from 3 to 6 and then leave and go sleep. Greg would start working and mom would come over in the morning. Literally, in order for this baby to sleep, we had to hold him and just like pray and play worship music, pace the halls. Like he was so itchy. His little hands, like we had him in scratch sleeves. We had his little legs completely wrapped. You were constantly changing gauze throughout the night because it was oozing and leaking through the gauze. So we had like stations set up like in our bedroom and the landing in his bedroom downstairs. And so it was like everywhere had like spray bottles and gauze and tape and scissors. And so did our diaper bag, so did our car. Like you had to be ready. And he would just scratch to the point that he bled. So his hands were either covered in scratch sleeves or you just hold his little arms. And it was just, it was awful. It was so bad. It was so bad. And I think feeling like you can't help your child and you're doing all that you know to do is just the hardest feeling in the world, because you're like, okay, I'm at the end of myself, and this is where like God's just gonna have to do a miracle. And we were just praying over him and laying hands on him. And he was so joyful despite it all. Like during the day, he always had the biggest smile on his face and the best little personality. His
Mhm.
arms started getting to the place that his legs were. So then we had to start like wrapping his arms and wrapping his legs. And so he was constantly in like sleeves, basically. And I went through a period where I literally couldn't leave the house, like, could not leave. Because if I was driving, like, when they're in the car seat, I feel like it's kind of all they have to focus on because they don't see you or anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
And then also the bumps in the road like trigger a histamine release in the body, and histamines cause them to itch and like more of the rash and all the things. And nighttime is when histamines naturally rise when your body tries to detox. So that's why night times were always so rough. So it's like you had the car rides, you had the nighttime. And I remember just trying to drive us to like my mom and dad's house, which is 8-10 minutes down the road. And I would have to pull over so many times because you would see him in the mirror. He would like break through his sleeves. There's one time I got him out of the car. Well, Greg got him out of the car. We had just pulled in. I was in the garage. He was crying, and I called Greg and just said, "Can you meet us in the garage?" And he opened the door, and all I heard him say was, "Oh my gosh." And I was like, "What?" And he said, "It looked like a drive-by shooting back here. There's blood everywhere." Yeah.
Ellen.
Yes. Yes. There was blood on yeah, everywhere. Everywhere. It was so bad. And
Bless
so
that
you
baby.
just, yeah, I know. So you just feel like so overwhelmed because you're running on no sleep, no
Right?
food. At this point, I had eliminated gluten, dairy, eggs, corn, soy, all nuts, so all peanuts, all tree nuts. Then I had eliminated all high histamine foods, so like any leftovers, bananas, all like several different fruits. Then I realized he might have a sensitivity to a food group that's called salicylates. So I had eliminated those. So we were down to 4 foods and I was breastfeeding. So we could have chicken that was low histamine chicken. We were buying chicken breasts that were like $29 a chicken breast. And like had to cook it and eat it immediately so that it wouldn't build histamine sitting in the fridge. And so I was eating that, but it couldn't be seasoned. So we did eventually get to a place where we added olive oil, but for a while it was literally just like, here's chicken, like maybe with salt, you know?
I have to ask you this.
Yeah.
How in the world, like that's hard just being a mom, your baby's
Yes.
sick in a just any sickness, you
Sure.
can't do any you feel like you can't do anything, but
Yes.
you are doing and like we kind of have the same personality of like type A, like,
Yes.
okay, give me a plan, I can do it.
Yes.
And you're doing everything and it's still not working.
Yes.
How, I mean, mentally, you were not probably okay. Like, what
No.
did you do to cope with eating freaking bear chicken? Like, just,
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I would cry eating the same chicken, I think.
No, I cried. I got to a point where I was like dry heaving looking at the food just because like you don't wake up and want unseasoned chicken for breakfast. So we were having chicken, bok choy, which I'd never even heard of, pears, and rutabaga, which I'd never even heard of. And at one point we were able to bring in sweet potatoes. But when I say that's what we ate for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, and for a snack, and I was teaching fitness classes for a living, I literally dropped down to the same weight that I had in high school. We
Yeah.
told no one, by the way, about any of this. Literally, just our family knew for a lot of reasons, but it was so hard and like such a intimate thing that I didn't have the energy or the capacity to explain it to 10 million people, you know? And we have a
Mhm.
fantastic client base. We have like 400 people there. And I couldn't deal with the emotional, like, how's Leo doing? What's going on? What are you doing now? So I just didn't tell a soul. So I was like this big and going in to teach classes off of literally nothing. I remember teaching feeling like I might pass out and no one here is going to know that I've maybe had like 200 calories all day, you know, but maybe they would call my mom or Greg and someone could get me like medical help if I needed it.
Oh my
It was
goodness.
awful. My supply obviously was like totally plummeting because I was down to like no foods. We were breastfeeding all the time, but then to keep my supply up at this point, because of how limited I was on my diet, I had to pump all the time. I remember my pump cut off at 1 hour, and I would literally pump an hour and get like half an ounce. So when
How
I
did you
say
not
like
like have anxiety or
I
depression?
was, it was very, very hard. It is mentally the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. Ever done in my entire life. Then
Oh my goodness.
physically, you're just exhausted. You're depleted. You have no sleep. You have no food. You have no energy. And you have a really precious little happy soul that wants to play with you during the day. And you feel like you need to spend every minute Googling, researching, reading something, buying a new herb. I remember we overnighted from New Zealand some kind of like all natural herbal based cream. We paid like $130 to get this sucker in the mail the next day. And I was like, this is going to be the cream that does it. Nothing did it. Nothing. And to feel like you're giving from an empty tank every day and it's not
Yeah.
enough. Not
For
enough.
how long? How long did you do that?
So we were on 4 foods, I think, for about 4 to 6 months. I mean, for a long time. I know that doesn't seem like a long time, but it's a very long
That's
time.
a long time.
It's a long time. Um, I ended up scheduling a call with the owner of the eczema group. And I remember telling her, like, I'm at my breaking point. Here's everything I've done. Like, I've done these herbs, I've done these natural topicals, I've done these like internal natural things. Like, I don't know what else to do. And she was like, you need to do a stool analysis. And I was like, what is it? What does that mean? Like, the only stool I knew about was like the stool in my kitchen at that point. You know, I was like, I literally don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
And she started explaining like eczema is this internal issue and likely there's gut dysbiosis. Have you looked into mold? I'm like, mold, what? Like, so then here I go with all these new rabbit holes to chase. It's like every day I was constantly, like during the shifts when someone had Leo so that I could sleep at night, I was up researching. And I had like books, I had my laptop, I was in all these groups, I was doing all these things to try to get traction. Like every day I placed one more order. I was ordering a new sleep sack that was organic cotton bamboo, made from wherever, that was it was gonna fix it. And I was ordering this cream, and I was ordering, and like you would wait by the mailbox, like, dear God, just bring me this magical thing in the mail today, that this is going to be the thing that does it. And it didn't do it. It didn't do it. It spread. It got worse. His little earlobes were split open. At one point, I had to gauze the bottom of his lobes. They were oozing, arms behind the knees, super oozy, legs wrapped. I mean, I have pictures and videos of him, and it's summertime, and he's completely covered arms and legs. And
Goodness.
yeah, it was literally so much. And I entered this whole new world of like, okay, we need to test his poop. We need to do all these things. So I did. I did a stool analysis. I realized he had gut dysbiosis. I realized he had strep, staph, E. coli. And then I'm like, how in the world did he get all these things? We're living in like a bubble. I'm
Right.
so like, I'm eating super clean. I'm eating nothing. I was very mindful of all this, like my pregnancy, my birth, all the things. Like, how did this happen? And all these people in the group are like, hey, I'm like a home birth mom, and this happened to my kid. And like, hey, I've never even taken an antibiotic in my life, and my child had this. And so there was a little bit of solidarity of like, okay, there's other moms who have been very clean and crunchy and natural, and this has still happened to their kid, because you kind of go like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And it can come from anywhere. Like at the time we had 2 dogs, and dogs are a huge contributor of like bringing stuff in the household. It can be brought on from stress. It can be from some contaminated water or meat somewhere. Like there's so many ways, and I never will know how he got these things. And reality is, if we all test, nobody's going to have this picture perfect gut, and everybody's going to have overgrowth or undergrowth or certain things that are, lacking in their gut microbiome. And for Leo, it presented as eczema, but for little Bobby, it might come out in ADHD. And for this kid, it might come out in anger and rage. And for this kid, it might come out in hives that come and go. For this kid, it might be dark circles under the eyes. It's like it all expresses in different ways. And so I started trying to flip my perspective to say, like, thank you, Jesus, that his skin literally tells me. Like, I look at my child and his body tells me this doesn't work for me, or this is not right with me. I don't have to guess. Like, I can literally look at him and tell that something's not right. So I started him on herbs like antimicrobials and like more natural things that I hadn't tried yet. Like I hadn't done golden seal yet. I had done olive leaf extract. I hadn't done echinacea yet. And so I tried those things, and I don't even know. There's so many things that I did. I can't even tell you X led to Y led to Z. My favorite saying was little by little, a little becomes a lot. And that's the only way I know how to explain it. We radically changed everything. I moved him to only 100% organic cotton clothing. We filtered even the faucets in our sink, whereas before we just had like the bathtubs and our drinking water filter. We filtered everything that touched his body or my body was filtered. We like I started really being mindful of things that I could take internally to support him since I was breastfeeding him. So I feel like I really upped my regimen of what I was taking.
Good.
We tested him for mycotoxins, which come from mold exposure. That actually turned out to be like pretty good. But we went down every possible rabbit hole, like a mold dog, a mold man, a man that tests the air for mold, a man that swabs the baseboards for mold, testing Leo's urine for mold, testing me for mold. Like every test you can think of, I did on this child. I ended up finding I was taking him to a chiropractor in Atlanta, which is like a 2-hour drive, but she was very holistically minded. And I was like, great. Like we went everywhere. I went to an airway dentist in Atlanta. I went to a chiropractor. I found every human I could find and just prayed that between all of it, like something would work. And she was like, I know you have doctor fatigue and decision fatigue and you're burnout. And I know he's doing better. And at that point, he was like, we were definitely seeing progress. So that was feeling really good to get some traction of like, okay, I'm eating nothing, but at least he's doing better. And like these new herbs are there. Like once I kind of tackled the gut dysbiosis and started looking into that and bringing in gut repair supplements to heal leaky gut and to support his body, and learning how like cod liver oil was helpful for him, or vitamin D3K2, like I just didn't know those things. So once I started kind of deep diving and got into all that, then I started seeing traction. And so we were seeing this chiropractor in Atlanta, and she was like, I know you're burnout. I know you're fatigued. I know he's doing better, but there is a really good functional doctor in North Atlanta. And I was just like, I cannot, because at this point we had seen 6 doctors, holistic, integrative, like virtually, in person. I had tried everybody, and all of them told me, I'm so sorry, this is the worst case of eczema that we've ever seen. Like, we're going to have to incorporate steroids. And I was just like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not giving up. That's not going to do anything. I knew that steroids, sure, were a quick fix, but it's like a plug to a bathtub. And at some point, when you unplug the drain, the gate floods are going to open and the water is going to come pouring. And I didn't want to deal with the repercussions of that. And I wanted to get to the bottom of why. And so I felt like every doctor had given up on me. I remember I found this fantastic doctor in North Atlanta that's not our current functional doctor. Made this appointment, I mean, at this point, we're just bleeding money. We have spent tens of thousands
I
on every
bet.
possible, yes,
Those
everything,
places are expensive. It's like
so
250 a
expensive.
pop.
Yes, absolutely. And then you have a supplement like this little bottle, $75, and I'm like, okay, like I need to get a glass case to display all this, because this stuff is like top tier.
So true,
So we
though.
drive to Atlanta, and I've got him in the back of the car. Car rides are rough because it's causing histamine issues, and he's itchy and he's oozy. But like, this doctor's going to be the one that fixes it, And they were supposed to test him for allergies. And we get there and we go in and we wait. Then we're finally seen by the doctor. And I said, before we leave, because at this point he was like 8 months old, I wanted, the main reason we came here is because y'all were going to test him for allergies. She said, I'm so sorry. We actually don't have any of the, and I don't know the words, but any of like the kid or the baby, needles or whatever she needed to do for a blood draw for him. So you're going to have to come back another day. And at that point, I was at my like breaking point. And at the end, I literally excused myself and I walked outside, and I just was like, I had an adult tantrum in the parking lot, screaming and crying. I remember I called my mom and I was like, someone else just take it. I'm done. I've done every doctor. I've done everything I know to do. I have driven 2.5 hours with a baby who's itching. His flesh is falling off. Like, he's missing skin on his body and he's oozing everywhere. And I can't do it anymore. Like, I literally can't. You or Greg, just figure it out. I'm done. I'm literally throwing my hands in the air and I can't do it. I cannot do it. And I just like let my mom have it, because that's what moms are there for.
Yeah.
She's like crying with me, and I was so mad. We had wasted all this time and all this money. And we ended up driving. My mom, God love her, found an allergist that was on our way home. So he was kind of south of Atlanta. They closed at 5:00. And we were going to get there at 5:02. And she called them crying on the phone, the sweetest Christian lady receptionist at the desk. She said, we will wait for you and we will keep the doors unlocked. And we got there at 5:02, walked in, tested this baby. Eggs never popped up. All the nuts did. And I said, I know he's allergic to eggs. We'd had several scary egg episodes where even like my mom would eat an egg and then hold Leo without brushing her teeth, and like full hives everywhere on top of the eczema,
Wow.
just from her eating an egg. So I was like, I know eggs are a thing. Can y'all test, like, do whatever you need to do? But it's a thing. They got powder and put it on his little back. Immediate hive. Huge. And so we were like, okay. Turned out he had an anaphylaxis to eggs. So we would have missed that had I not pushed for that. So very grateful we found
No
that
big
out.
deal. Wow.
No big
Okay.
deal. Yes. So of course he sent us with like a million prescriptions, steroids, mupirocin, all the things. And I don't get them filled. I just needed to know what he's allergic to at that point, and then I know I'm going to do all the other things to heal him with my me and Jesus plan. And he starts calling me, asking me, why have you not filled the prescriptions? Why have you not picked up the prescriptions? And I was starting to get a little nervous that like CPS would be contacted, because that is a thing. And especially in the eczema world, when they see eczema babes who the parents are healing them naturally, but unfortunately that's not appropriate in their eyes, then these kids are reported. And so we ended up just picking up the prescriptions so that we could tell him we had, and then just didn't use them. So I ended up getting them filled, but he was calling me every day, leaving me a message saying, why have you not filled these prescriptions? And I'm like, they're going to come check out my home and my child. And I promise I'm doing everything that I can. I'm really working hard. So didn't fill those, but then I had that insight and I was like, okay, so I'm reading labels on everything. Well, my deodorant is almond. So I'm using an almond natural deodorant. Well, he's allergic to almonds. I'm using a moisturizer that has almonds in it. I have all these almond products. By the way, check your products if you have a kid allergic to almonds, because it's in everything. I had an almond bath wash. I really like almonds, apparently. Almonds were in all my stuff. So then I'm like, shoot,
That's
I'm using all this,
crazy.
right? Right? I'm using all this clean skincare, but it's got almonds in it. So I've got it like I can't use anything. So got rid of all that. And yeah, I mean, eventually it just, every day we were one step closer. Every day there started to be a win. And at some point around a year old, I feel like we had kind of really worked heavy on the gut dysbiosis. We had a good protocol. We were bringing in like leaky gut supplements, the cod liver oil, the D3K2 that I had talked about. We had him on a good probiotics that I knew that like his little body was low in. Like he was low in SAC-B and he was low in some bifido strains. And so I was able to bring those things in. I was bringing the things in for my body. We were just so aware of everything. We'd eliminated nuts everywhere, eliminated eggs everywhere. And he started getting better. And that just turned into more and more and more. So I found the functional doctor. I almost canceled the appointment because he was actually doing very well for him at that
Mhm.
time, and his skin was pretty clear. But I'm so glad that I didn't, because we saw her. She was able to do a full like blood count on him and test his white blood cells, red blood cells. She realized like his eosinophils, which is his histamine markers, were like sky high. So his little body's just constantly battling histamines,
Mhm.
which thankfully we had eliminated high histamine foods, but there were things we needed to do to come in and support his immune system that I wasn't doing, and things like different histamine support that we could come in, like stinging nettle and skullcap and things like that, and support his body. And so we started doing those things. Then she did a viral panel on him and realized he had Bartonella, which is a co-infection of Lyme disease. And you're like, how do you get Bartonella? You can get it from a mosquito. Well, hello, we live in Georgia. You can get it from a cat. My parents have a cat. So, your brain's just like, okay, great. Like we've now cleared up these things in his gut, but now we've got Bartonella. Then there was another time that she did like a deeper dive with him, realized he had C. diff toxin A and B, which are really like bad overgrowths of bacteria in your body,
Yeah.
and he had a parasite. And I'm like, I was trading, like I was fixing one thing and trading it for another. And you're just like, can I get a good report? Like, am I ever going to get a good report? And I remember feeling like, what if he doesn't ever fully heal? Like, what if this is our story? What if I always have to have gauze with me and scratch sleeves with me? And as I run out of one size, I need to get another size, And it was this constant mental game of like, I'm doing all I can, and there's moms out there that aren't even testing for this and their kids are fine. And I'm going like to the millionth degree and physically, emotionally, mentally doing all of it, which I would and I will and I did. But you're like, why me? Like, why him? Give it to me, take it from him. Like, and I just started pleading with God, like, Lord, if you will please bring us through this, I promise I will shout it from the rooftops. I will share his testimony. Whatever you want me to do, just deliver him from it. Like, take it away from him and give him the ability to live life. I felt like I was, as a mom, you're always aware, but as an eczema mom, you're hyper aware. I can't just be aware of Leo. I have to be aware of you. You're around Leo. Did you eat eggs? Did you have nuts? Do you have almond deodorant on? Are you going to pick up my child? Because he's going to have a reaction. And
Yeah.
I was constantly like hyper focused on every person. It's like Thanksgiving and we go to my parents' house and I'm like, literally, has everyone brushed their teeth? Like, we're coming in, and you're just like, you're so in fight or flight all the time, all the time.
Right.
Just
That's
constant, your cortisol,
stressful.
yes, is through the roof. Um, and you're eating your own thing. He's eating his own thing, and your eyes are on everybody that might possibly be touching your child. And then at your parents' house, you've got a gauze kit, you've got to, all the things. And so we navigated the new results with her. We were able to tackle the C. diff and tackle the parasite all holistically and naturally, but it's a process. And we were able to support his histamines and come alongside him. And little buddy turned 3 in January, and he is truly like fully healed. Just makes me want to cry. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. And his labs look amazing. And it's like someone went in with an eraser. Like everything that was once lit up, or there was an overgrowth, or he didn't have enough of it and he needed it, or his histamines were so high. Like she literally used the words, it's picture perfect. Like everything is picture perfect. And it is nothing short of God. I have never um, felt like I have just pleaded with him than I had then. Like my child has never been to a daycare or even been at church. Have I left him because I couldn't? And now I'm at a place where like, okay, I can. And he's eating all these foods now and he's doing really well, but we're just so mindful that it still makes me so nervous to like drop him off somewhere,
Yeah.
at like church.
Mhm.
So he goes to big church with us and he loves it and he thinks he's so big. But just the healing that he has, the fact that I don't have to be hyper aware, the fact that like he can go and play outside, you can have almonds and you can touch him. He no longer has an anaphylaxis to eggs. Like all these things that once were are truly gone. And he, in my eyes, is living life to the fullest. In his little eyes, he thinks he always has been because he doesn't know any better. And he was just so happy to be here, oozy or bleedy or bloody or however he was.
Yeah.
But it taught me so much about surrender. I think I did like figure out everything and you're just grasping at straws. And I had to get to a total posture of like that meltdown that I had in the parking lot of like, I can't do it. Just take it, just fix it. I had to get there to realize like, it's not me. Like, yes, the Lord was using me and did use me to help heal Leo, but like it was out of my control and I could see that everything I was doing wasn't wasn't enough. And I kept fighting and I kept plowing ahead, but I also had to get to a point where I could marry the two of like I'm constantly moving forward and trying to fight for him with like okay, but I'm also going to release and surrender. And I started going to therapy virtually and she was amazing because I was so fatigued in every like part of my body and the fight or flight had to come down because I was responding like this at all times because I had to for so long. Was he like in an anaphylaxis reaction? Was he hiving? Was he breathing okay? Was he bloody? Did I need to go grab more gauze? Like you are responding in an emergency crisis mode for so long that then to like come down from that is so hard. And I remember she told me every time you go to research something, pick up a book or your laptop or your phone. Instead, I want you to pick up your Bible. And I was like, whoa, that is so powerful because I did
Yeah.
not realize every free minute I had, when you're a mom and you pull in the garage and you sit there and you're just like decompress. Okay. My decompress moment was like, let me research. Like, I need to learn something. I need to fix something. And so to
Yes.
hear, like, I want you to go to prayer or your Bible every time you feel like you need to research something was very, very powerful. And it just really changed my mindset and took me to God first before
Mhm.
taking me to the interwebs or the book or the podcast or the whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so that's a little a little whole lot about our story and kind of how we got here. So I went through all that and I felt like, oh my goodness, I've gone through all this. He's healed, he's delivered. Thank you, Jesus. Now I've got to use the story for his glory. I've got to share his testimony. I've got to shout it from the rooftops, and I've got to help other moms. And so I really felt like I should do this. And I'm like, with what time? I have a business, I have a baby, like how? And the Lord's like, do it. So I said, okay. So I joined the Institute of Integrative Nutrition School and their very holistic approach, focusing on functional medicine, focusing on the whole person, the whole body. So I did that a year ago, March, graduated from there. And so then I started this health coaching business on the side. And so I've been doing that a little over a year, and I've gotten to walk alongside so many moms, of course, with navigating eczema, but also just like, hey, I'm wanting to live a little lower toxic. Like, what does that look like? Or kind of helping moms realize that we have to, like, when we see an external expression, there's usually something internal that's driving it. And so I love to walk alongside them and help them with that too. So that's a little bit about what I do there. And so sorry, I have talked your ear off for 50 minutes.
No, I love it. I love it. I wanted you to tell all that because
Thank you.
some people just see, I mean, goodness, there's so many things I could say, but so many people see, oh, like when you post pictures of him now, like, oh, this was a difficult time. Like, I
Yes.
went through this. They don't see that you have gone to so many doctors and
Yes.
you have tried your hardest and
Yes.
you're having an adult temper tantrum
Yes.
and you're becoming obsessive with research and
Yes.
anything that a normal person would
Yes.
literally do because you
Yes.
are wanting to fix and heal and save your
Yes.
child.
Yes.
Um,
I
and
mean,
so
we were
just,
under house arrest for 6 weeks. I did
I
not
don't
leave
even
this
know how you
house.
did that. I
I
don't
was
even,
losing my mind. But the
yeah.
days were blurring together because we weren't sleeping, and every day was the same. I have an itchy, bloody child who's smiling and wants to play, and I'm staring at him sobbing like, how are you so happy when you're itchy and bloody? And
Hmm.
then I can't leave the house because I can't drive. And then I'm like, I just need to research, and we can't eat any food. So like the days were just the same for like 6 weeks straight until I
Hmm.
got him to a place where we could at least get in the car again.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild. Like that
It's
just
wild.
journey of it. And
Yes.
so now, like, what do you think like, I know you kind of already said God kind of had to bring you to a point of surrender.
Yes.
What do you think was the hardest part just as not necessarily like I know as a mom that's hard because you like I just said you want to fix things, but
Yeah.
just as a
Yeah.
person totally changing
Yes.
everything you're doing.
Yes.
Because I mean, you even talk about I used to drink a Diet Coke all the
Yeah.
time. Like
Oh
I'm
my gosh.
totally, just
I was
changing.
over here at like 3 large Diet Cokes a day. Now, I did stop that when I got pregnant, but I was still eating, like, I went to Barbaritos and had a, Cheez It bowl the night before I cut dairy from him. So, like, I was still allowing myself to, as you should. I do not feel like you should restrict everything the way that we had to, but we had to in that moment. But I was still, to go from that to like, sorry, I hate to say it, but I feel like I just became antisocial and kind of an introvert, and my personality, and I'm a
Yeah,
big extrovert, but like I didn't want to talk to people because I couldn't be real and honest, and I hate being fake, but I didn't, like I said, have the capacity to go into that with everybody. And so I didn't enjoy communicating with people because everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, how's your baby?" And I would just be like, "He's so good." Because what am I supposed to say? I didn't sleep last night. I changed out 8 bandages and I have a herb coming in from New Zealand, And so
yeah,
then I didn't enjoy talking to people anymore, but then I didn't enjoy working out anymore because I was doing it like feeling like I was going to fall out. And then I couldn't leave the house, and then I didn't enjoy food anymore, and I was gagging having shredded chicken for breakfast. So I don't even know how to explain it, aside from like I literally felt like I'm on an isolated island and no one in this world, like my mom and my family, my husband saw it, which God loved them, would not have made it through without them, but they weren't the ones like experiencing the lack of food. So
Right.
you're hangry a lot,
Yes.
and you're exhausted. And so yeah, I think just I feel like I was literally breaking as a human being. I was breaking, and in every capacity, physically, mentally, emotionally. You have like, I'm spiraling, and then you've spiraled, and then you're at the bottom of the spiral. And that's where I was showing
Yeah.
up to like go teach a cardio class. And I'm like, hi, everybody, welcome in. I hope you're having a great day. And I'm putting on this happy face, but behind it is someone who's just like shattered and broken in every way, in every way. And then I leave, and the first thing I do is like check my phone to see, has he been okay for the hour that I've been gone? And like, what am I about to walk in the door to? It's just a lot.
Yeah. When did you feel like did you feel like you could heal once he was healing?
Yes. Yes. I felt like a weight had been lifted once I started seeing the progress, but then I still was in fight or flight, like major fight or
Yeah.
flight. Honestly, until probably the last year or so, I would say my cortisol, I did like a hormone panel. My cortisol was through the roof. The your cortisol should be the highest in the morning, and mine just stayed there. Mine was high in the morning, mine was high in the afternoon, mine was high at night. And my functional doctor was like, I can give you every herb in the world, but like you need therapy, and you need to like work on you. And
Mhm.
I was just like, yes, thank you for that. And I did. And I started going to therapy once a week. And I just had to unpack the trauma of being an eczema mom and all that that comes with, and unpack the weight that I've been carrying of like, it's me and Jesus solely healing this child. I am his doctor, and I've got to figure it all out. And then I had to work on like, who am I as a person, and like, what foods do I even like? I know that sounds silly, but like, what do I want to eat? Like, I can eat food now, but what?
Yeah.
And like, what does
Mhm.
Ellen like to eat? And how does Ellen need to feel like Ellen again? And I had to really dig into all of that and kind of uncover like, who's Ellen as like a non-eczema mom, because that was literally my identity 24/7 for a good like year for sure, and then past that some too.
And I'm sure just unfortunately when we go through these things, trials,
Yeah.
and experience this, he is setting us up to hopefully help someone. And I know that like
Yes,
you do probably get fulfillment in the job that you
for
have,
sure.
being able to help moms, and
Yes.
people just with, like you said, the vast variety of
Yeah.
external things. What is, I did ask you this before, what is like the number one thing that you get asked whenever you have your little one-on-ones?
Yeah. I feel like everyone, whether they're coming with eczema or they're pregnant and they want to focus on lower toxic living or whatever, they're like, where do I start? With
Yes.
whatever it is. Where do I start? Can you break it down for me? Because we are in this world of like, just mass consumerism. Is that a word?
Yes.
We're just consuming everything.
True.
And there's so many things out there, and you don't know where to start.
Yeah.
So I would say that's what a lot of moms come to me. They're trying to get pregnant, and they don't know how to get their bodies in a good place, or they're postpartum, and how can they like, restore their hormones, or they have an eczema kid, or they like just want to, they have nothing going on. They just want to like focus on, making their house a little less toxic. Where do I start? That's probably the biggest question that I get from anybody.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure because
Yeah.
it is overwhelming. I mean, everything
It's
that
so
you,
overwhelming.
some of the things you were saying, I was like, I don't even know what that is. No idea what you're talking about.
I
But
tried to
whenever we
talk
did,
like
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, you're good. I tried to talk. I was like, okay, don't go like into too much bacteria or like because you're gonna lose the crowd.
No, no, but it's good because it is very vast. I mean, just like
Yes.
anything else.
Yeah.
Um, but what do you think? Like, do you like being able to incorporate this new journey of being a holistic health coach with your Novo family? And
Yes.
like, I know that y'all do a lot of workshops and
Workshops.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of explain that too, really quick.
Yeah, so I feel like it goes just so hand in hand. I mean, we have a client base of around 400 women, and so we've got moms, we've got teenagers, we've got a little bit of everybody. And so I love being able to take what I do and kind of marry it into the studio. So we just finished a 6-week wellness series, and each week was a focus on holistic health. So if you were in it to lose weight, great. If you were in it to gain weight, great. If you were in it to just like refocus your hormones or your mindset, like we really tackled everything. And each week we focus on a different workshop. So we broke down hormones and cycles. We broke down lower toxic living. We broke down like detoxing and supplements. We broke down gut health. And so I love being able to just get with other women who, again, are kind of like, where do I start? And take their hand and
Yeah.
kind of walk them through as deep as they want to go. And then if they want a little more, then I am there for, follow up one-on-ones. But yeah, it's been really cool. And not everybody's into it. Some people are like, listen, I love my McDonald's and I love my 3 Cokes a day. And I'm like, girl, I've been there. It's okay. I'll see you in 5 years when you come to the other side, when you get there.
No, I
So
mean,
yeah.
it's intriguing, but it's
Yeah.
awesome that you're able to do that. Like, I'm like
Thank
always
you.
jealous that I'm not down there with Nova,
I
but when you
know.
started
I wish
doing
you lived
those
here.
things, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
no, I would love
Yeah.
to do that. So,
Mhm.
how can, say somebody's listening to this, how can they find you if they want to do a one on one, if they want to
Yeah.
see what this side of life is like?
The other
How
side.
can they find like a good, make sure it's a good doctor, or how
Yeah.
can they book these things with you, if
Yes,
they want
for
to, if they were
sure.
interested?
Yeah, so my website is ellen-cobb.com. So very easy, very straightforward. It's like a mini site built into our fitness studio site. I am on Instagram, but I'm private, but I think it's Ellen Cobb underscore. I don't even know my handle. Something with Ellen Cobb. You will find me. Ellen Cobb and an underscore. But I do have friends that will send people to me and I'm like, I'm private, but if you send me a message and you're like, hey, Susie, listen to the podcast, I will absolutely accept. I just keep it nice and small and intimate. But yeah, my site has a ton of information and I do one-on-ones there, but I'm also like, I get it and I've been there. So if I cannot help you or it's a situation where you need a functional doctor or whatever, I will be totally honest. And I love to just say like, here's some good resources. Here's some good people that I would recommend. So I am more than happy to just like chat via PM and help how I can there too. If you're in a place where you're like, we have so much going on and I
Yeah.
just feel like, let's just start with a functional doctor. And this is out of my wheelhouse, then I will recommend there too. But I think if you're looking for a good doctor and you want to focus on holistic healing, finding someone who focuses on the root cause, finding someone who's going to do comprehensive labs, so a stool analysis, looking at mycotoxins in your body, doing like testing all your blood cells, doing a viral panel, those kind of things would be questions that I would ask them. And I would ask them, do you have experience with whatever it is you're going to them for, with eczema or with fertility or with, whatever, so that they're able to kind of give you an idea of what they do and their answer will tell you if that's something that you think might be a good fit.
Last thing,
Yes.
what would you tell a mom right now
Mm.
that feels like she's going through something similar as you did with Leo? What is just a word of encouragement that you could say um, to her right now?
Yeah, I would tell her that phrase of little by little, a little becomes a lot. You don't realize it in the moment, but every little change I was making, even though sometimes I felt like we were going backwards, all of those things made a difference. They all add up. It just takes time. And it's sometimes like a detective and just playing the guessing game. And there's all these little pieces that you have to piece together. You have to find out what they're allergic to and what are they sensitive to. And you have to kind of step back and look at it broad, and then you have to go in for the deep dive. So I would just say like um a little by little, a little becomes a lot. And I would also say like your story doesn't end there. I wish that I could go back and tell myself that like he's not done with you yet. He's not going to leave you there. Your story doesn't end there. There's so much more to it, and just hang in there, because I know what it feels like to be in that waiting season of like, God, do you even hear me? And like, why aren't we getting traction? But I feel like sometimes he says, I do, but not yet. Like it's coming, but not yet. And when we are in that waiting, don't let the waiting be wasted. Like he meets us in these really, really sweet, intimate ways when we are so broken. That's
Yeah.
when, that is when it's a life-changing moment, when he meets you there. And if we don't allow ourselves to kind of sit in that, we miss it, and we miss what he has for us.
Yeah. That's so good. You're making me emotional over here
Thank
preaching,
you.
girl.
I know,
Oh,
I'm just a hot mess over here.
so true. It's so true.
Thank
Um,
you.
I appreciate you so much being on
I
here.
appreciate you. Yeah, thank you. Thank
And
you
I
for
know
having
somebody's
me.
going to be touched by this and just blessed by you, and also
Thank you.
very interested. And you'll probably get some emails.
What is a stool analysis?
I love it. Well, thank you,
Thank you.
seriously.
Thank
Again,
you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.